Now, where did this rank with you? Number 1 or number 2?
Van Halen 1 on my list. I'm going to say...
On your personal.
Oh, number 2.
Number 2. I think I had this at number 3. I have to double check to make sure on that, but I think I had this at number 3.
All right, let me sync it up to make sure that we're good.
Yep, I did. Number 3.
All right, are we ready to go here for Van Halen 1? This one is going to be a little bit shorter. This is going to be 10 minutes, a little over 10 minutes.
Because this is just, it's an iconic album, so it's just kind of like, you can't really talk too much about it.
Okay, and we are back with the first proper Van Halen album, which was released February 10th, 1978, and produced by Ted Templeman for the Warner Brothers label Van Halen, or Van Halen 1, as a lot of people like to call it. Now, this, when I first heard this record, I was absolutely blown away by it because it was something I had not, like, altogether completely. I remember we talked about this a little bit on our little tribute to Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
About the single for You Really Got Me, which was very popular. And I believe, like, it was something that you never really heard before because the record also has the Eruption instrumental. You didn't really generally get a separate track for just a little bit of noodling by a guitarist, but this is a record that announces its guitarist right here, right? Pretty much.
Just as you think when you heard Runnin' with the Devil with some good guitar playing, now here's some good fucking guitar playing.
This is incredible when you listen to it because it's a combination of different styles. You have, okay, this is another thing David Lee Roth talked about. He talked about the rumba. He said that Jamie's Cryin is a rumba because it starts off with boom 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 bum 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 boom 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 bum bum. That's a rumba. So you have a conglomeration of different styles, and then you have like a little bit of the influence. Runnin' with the Devil is it's a trademark Van Halen song. Then you have Eruption. Then you have Really Got Me, which is a cover of a very popular song from the 60s. And then you keep moving on, and then you go into things that are like, wait, is that punk? This is punk. Is that country?
Then I'm the One follows right after that, I believe.
Or Ain't Talking About Love as well.
Ain't Talking About Love, and then I'm the One. There we go. Ain't Talking About Love, then I'm the One.
So you've got punk, you've got country music, you've got rockabilly, you have good old-fashioned rock and roll, and you have rumba, and then you have like something like Feel Your Love Tonight, which sounds a lot like Cheap Trick. Like if Cheap Trick were to cover Van Halen, they would do Feel Your Love Tonight because that's a
Cheap Trick or Foreigner.
Cheap Trick. Well, no, I'm going to go with Cheap Trick because I'm not a big fan of Foreigner.
Okay, them's fighting words. That's for another time.
But, I'm sorry, but I've been waiting for a girl like you.
I didn't say that Foreigner, even though that's off my favorite fucking Foreigner album, but the other 3 albums don't got that sappy.
Are you talking about a jukebox hero? Got stars in your eyes.
If you take Waiting for a Girl Like You out of the equation, fucking Foreigner 4 is a great record, okay?
You take a little time. And then you have like, Little Dreamer. Oh, and Ice Cream Man, which is... Ice Cream Man, that might be my favorite song on the record, actually. Because it's a lot of fun. I don't know. It's just something you can sing along to.
It's a fun little tune. I mean, again, this is one of those albums I can listen to the whole way through, never skip it.
This is the first. Okay, let's mention again. I'm going to mention this again. This is the first Van Halen record. This is what the nation heard, right?
Right.
And then you're hearing Ice Cream Man, and David Lee Roth is the only person at the time who identifies himself. He's the one. He's like, sometimes here, babe, give you something cool. Better look out now, because Dave's got something for you. I'll tell you what it is. You know, it's like, so you got David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen. Edward gets introduced, I think, maybe in the 3rd record. Yes, with what is it? Could This Be Magic? When they're doing that, he stops and he goes, Edward. And then he says, thank you. It's like that. So it's like you feel that the band is really kind of just David Lee Roth and musicians.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when he tried that in '85, it didn't go very well. It did well, but then it didn't.
It did
didn't
go
sustain.
well. You said something about that, but the thing is, his records, at least his first 3 records, maybe even Eat 'Em and Smile. I'm not really sure. Crazy from the Heat and Eat 'Em and Smile, and A Little Ain't Enough, or Skyscraper. I'm sorry, and then A Little Ain't Enough. They were still in the top 40. He had diminishing returns, like you do. You know, it's just
Like I said, he started off hot, and then he leveled out.
And then he wanted to kind of be bigger. He wanted to be Dave TV. I really do think he wanted to be Dave TV. And Eddie is kind of he's quiet, yes, he's kind of soft spoken or whatever, but everybody always put their collective eggs into Eddie's basket, if you will, not David's. But the thing about it is this record is dripping with David Lee Roth's style and his showmanship and his performance. You can almost see him just performing these songs, even as you're listening to the record.
I know. It just takes you back to just watching an old '80s MTV concert, going, "Yeah, I wish I was there for that."
I was there for maybe a little bit, but like I said, I didn't really get into Van Halen until probably '85 or '86 or something like that. Like, it was around the time I was really getting into the Lee Roth thing, and then I find out that fucking Lee Roth left and Hagar is replacing him, and I didn't know what to think about that. It took me a few more years to get into Sammy Hagar. But the thing is, you can really appreciate it here. You can really feel everything that they're doing, and it's all in one room,
I at least knew there were 2 singers when I was getting into Van Halen. I didn't start getting into him until the '90s, but then I remember my uncle, he had an extensive vinyl collection. The best part is he had a tape deck and a record player all hooked up together. And of course, it's the '90s, I got a Walkman, and he's got the first couple of Van Halen records. So I asked him, I'm staying at his house because my parents were telling me, "Hey, Uncle Mike, can I listen to some records and record them to cassette?" He said, "Sure." And I copied all his Van Halen records, and that was the first time I ever heard Van Halen 1.
Well, what did he have in that collection of tapes?
Oh, he had Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, Women and Children First, Fair Warning, Diver Down, 1984, 5150, and then that was it, because after that he started going into CDs.
Ah, yes.
So he had everything up to 5150 on vinyl, but then after that it was all CDs.
Yeah, and that was back, and I have to remind you, that was at a time when they were making money off of records back then. If you had a friend who was a Van Halen aficionado, you could borrow their tapes and then record them, I guess, if you wanted to. Or if you had a nice component system, you could maybe play their vinyl, tape it. You could actually do that.
And my uncle had that system. He had a badass Pioneer system with a diamond stylus, everything like that, dude.
So you got the really good sound, because there was remember back in the day when you had a really shitty component system and it wasn't great recording off of the record, but then you had really good ones that were crystal clear, and it almost sounded just like a tape if you bought it.
It did, and luckily my cousin gave me a Pioneer Centrex from '81, but it still worked.
Oh man, those were the days. You remember that? Oh man, that was so awesome back then. That was back when we had to have friends. Now we don't have to have friends, so we just steal everything. So it's like, oh, well, I got the whole Van Halen discography. Well, fuck you. I remember when I had a friend, and he loaned me the discs, and I taped them. And I had to do it in real time, too.
Exactly. None of my cousin who lived down the street. See, he eventually came back from the military, and I got to copy all his CDs to tape instead of vinyl. But then it was just kind of, because then that's how I ended up getting OU 812, Carnal Knowledge, Balance, all that stuff.
And as they got better in quality, so did your tapes. So, like I believe 5150 was recorded partially digitally, so it was ADD, not AAD or DDD, but it was ADD. But it sounded really good on a metal tape if you had metal bias on your component deck.
Which my uncle had, luckily.
Oh, God damn! I got to see pictures of that stereo system.
Oh, right. Please! That was damn near 25.
I bet it was gorgeous too, though, right?
It was
with
a
tall
nice
speakers and everything.
Nice tall speaker Pioneer stereo system.
Oh my God! Probably over 200 watts each channel. All right, we're running out of time. I want to ask you, what are your favorite songs on the first Van Halen record?
Ain't Talking About Love.
Great.
I'm the One.
Great.
The One.
Great. Yes.
I'm the One. Feel Your Love Tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait to feel your love tonight.
How about we just say this? The whole entire side 1, followed by Feel Your Love Tonight on side 2 and Jamie's Cryin. The other songs are good, but I could take them or leave them.
Really good. I love them all. I love Ice Cream Man. I love On Fire. I love Little Dreamer. Great. Atomic Punk. Fucking awesome. I'm the One. You really got me. Eruption, Runnin with the Devil. Love them all. Great record.
That whole record's great. Unfortunately, like we said, this is my number 3. Yes, I love this whole record, but it's my number 3 favorite Van Halen album.
For
I know,
shame.
it's sacrilege. For shame.
Well, it's number 2 for me. My favorite is coming up next, which we'll get to at some point in the undefinable future, probably after Election Day, but we'll talk about that next. Thanks for joining us.
All right, have a good night, guys. Take care.
All right.